Human beings can be spotted in every corner of the globe, from oceans to deserts to jungles. Their impact is so profound that scientists believe that humanity has left a permanent mark on the Earth's surface. Whether due to a massive-scale nuclear war, an asteroid impact, a catastrophic climate change, or a global pandemic, whatever the reason that can cause it, let's learn what would happen if in a blink of a second, human beings disappeared from the surface of the Earth. In the first few hours after humans ceased to exist, lights would fizzle out as without anyone around to control them, most of the power plants would start malfunctioning. Since power stations use fossil fuels to operate, there wouldn't be anyone to recharge them and they would shut down, leading to mass blackouts. 2 days after recording a low energy consumption, nuclear power plants would activate safety modes which would avert nuclear disasters for a moment. Wind turbines will continue generating electricity, but without proper maintenance, they will also quickly fail. Solar panels would not be of much help either, as with no one around to routinely check them, dust and debris particles would start falling and accumulating on them. Underground metros like those in Moscow and New York City would experience bursts in hundreds of abandoned drainage pipes, which would then lead to the tunnels flooding with sewage water in just 3 days. The tunnel sewage would fill up and overflow onto the streets and homes, which would then poison many plant and animal life it comes into contact with. 1 week later, emergency generators will run and shut down, and for the first time in many years, the earth will be thrown into pitch darkness. 10 days later, if sickness hasn't already overcome most of our pets and domesticated animals trapped inside, hunger and dehydration will most certainly do. Billions of domesticated chickens and cows will start dying. Those animals who manage to break free will enter into a fierce fight for survival. Big dogs will form packs and hunt down smaller dogs and other weak animals. The short stature of bulldogs and other dogs with small jaws and bodies will become their main disadvantage, and they will be the first ones to fall. On noticing that electric fences are no longer hurting them, wild animals will break free of their reserves, and some of them will find their way to the streets and start hunting other animals. 1 month later, power around the globe would have depleted, and all cooling systems that keep check of nuclear reactors from overheating will start evaporating and then shut down. This would lead to chains of reactions worse than those experienced in the Chernobyl and Fukushima disasters. At this point, islands and cities nearby would be decimated by the series of explosions, and the radioactive fallout would kill every wildlife, plant, and animal life nearby. In places unaffected by nuclear radiation, the animals would prevail. Within a year of our extinction, strange stars will start falling from the sky, which will be the dozens of thousands of satellites that we have launched to space. After losing their power, they would break down and come crashing down into our atmosphere and burn as they approach the surface of the Earth. Eventually, due to wear and lack of maintenance, even the farthest satellites will also fall out of orbit. Nature would claim back its supremacy on the planet, and that would start with our very own homes. With no one around to keep them away, termites, bugs, creepers, and rodents will go uncontested, dominating every inch area of the newly abandoned homes. The termites and creepers sitting and moving around wooden structures would soon enough resort to the woods collapsing down. In 30 years, most urban and suburban areas will be totally taken over by plants, which will transform them into green overgrown fields. This will prove catastrophic as they will grow into everything, leading to a lot of damages within the remaining infrastructure. By this time, rainwater and flooded tunnels have eroded and transformed the streets into urban rivers. 75 years later, metal constructions such as steel bridges and the Eiffel Tower have corroded and collapsed due to weather elements and natural disasters. We can predict some of the strong buildings will still be standing, but even then, the metallic beams supporting them will rot and get corroded, and the buildings will also sag and ultimately come crumbling down. The collapsed ruins now becomes habitats for rodents and lizards. The concrete in fallen skyscrapers will add to the soil's acidity, which will propagate emergence of new plant life. Differently adapted herbivores will scamper into the new city forests in search for new sources of foods. And as we know it, where there is a prey, there is always a predator. In 300 years, birds now return to their unfairly taken homes as their migration is no longer disrupted by blinking communication tower lights and high-tension wires. With the reduced light and air pollution, billions of birds will be saved every year. Large marine animals like whales are now happy and flourish, reproducing to full capacity. Our cities have now become homes to imported plants which run wild in their adopted homes. Flora and fauna greatly flourish and the Earth's climate heals from the millennia of human impact. In 30,000 years, most evidence of human existence has disappeared, and the only remaining evidence is things like the Pyramid of Giza, the Great Wall of China, and sculpted in unyielding granite, Mount Rushmore Memorial, which survives another 7.5 million years. Most sculptures made of bronze will keep them recognizable for up to 10 million years. In 50 million years, glass and plastic bottles will be the only remaining evidence that we once vastly roamed the earth. 100 million years later, even this will disappear, and just like we have with the dinosaurs, human beings will become extinct, with the only legacy of our existence being remnants of cities buried deep in the underground, preserved as technofossils. Millions of years later, even these races will be wiped out completely from the planet's surface, and once again in many years, the nature will enjoy its endearing magnificence in the absence of human interference. Humanity has not always been here. Therefore, we can be sure we won't be here forever. So whether we like it or not, Mother Nature is one day going to reclaim what is rightfully hers. But by learning more about the world without us, probably we can learn more of the world we live in and try to make it a better place while we still can.